to our project entitled The Dinehero Redesign, brought to you by Ahmed Bangur, Jarshil Mehta, Yaween Wang, and we are group number 6. We decided to do our project on an application that provides a platform for individuals and professionals to meet over meals. This application is entitled dinehero, and this application actually launched for Apple iOS in 2016. Some of the major reasons why we decided to go with this application was because, first, it gave us a real-world experience where we had to interact with not just potential users, but also product owners. And from this, one of the second reasons why we chose this was because the product owner had a problem that he needed to be solved, and being UX designers, we are here to solve problems. And the third reason was that this application is a very unique application in the fact that it's trying to tackle an issue within the budgeting market. So for this application, we pretty much analyzed the application and redesigned it. In order to be successful in the redesign of this application, there were several processes and steps that we had to go through. First, we had to define the problem and understand its constraints. Several of the problems was that the application had low numbers of users, right? And from this low number of users came a consequence of low user rate retainment and low user activity. After we had defined our problem, we tried to learn from our users in the market to see what suggestions or what ideas we could garner from other competitors. So we did a competitive analysis, and we also sent the survey to current users and developed a journey map for potential users. So after we learned our users, we gathered ideas in order to create wireframes and low fidelity and high fidelity prototypes that we tested and refined and iterated and tested again, so that we could get enough feedback in order to implement best design choices. After all the user research was completed, we basically came to the point of making major changes on several pages, right? Some of the several pages that we made major changes to were the sign-up pages, the user profile page, the home page, the button, the bottom navigation page, and also the create an event page. For the sign-up and user profile pages, we found that users found these pages and processes to be cumbersome, and they did not like the fact that these pages required mandatory information that the user did not want to fill out. So in order to rectify this problem, we went ahead and minimized the mandatory information on the sign-up page, which pretty much led the sign-up to be faster, and we only asked for information that was not intrusive, right? And then for the profile page, we shifted a lot of the required fields from the sign-up page to the profile page so that we could allow the users to determine on their own time when they want to fill out their profile page. For the home page, we found that the users found this page to be very cluttered and confusing, right? So our design solution was pretty much to declutter the home page. We changed the name of the page from Dine to Home, meaning that the users at times didn't even realize that they were on the home page. And we changed the icon that represented the home page at the bottom of the navigation to something more familiar. And we added a filter option and the join button for the events that are nearby. As the bottom navigation goes, we found that it was difficult for users to differentiate between several of the icon buttons at the bottom. Right? So in order for us to make it easier on changed it to event, being that that's what we wanted to be clear to the user that that was the course of action they were taking. Last but not least, we did some major changes for the create an event page. Our founders found that creating an event was cumbersome task for the users, and it took longer than expected, with the users experiencing several errors in the navigation department of the create an event page, and they found it difficult to determine the order of operation to complete the task of creating an event. So in order to simplify this, we required operations all on one page, which prevented the user from getting lost. And we reduced the number of required information, so we eliminated the address and company field, and we made the page a more image-driven page as opposed to text-driven. For instance, we changed the icons for the search bar with Yelp or search with Google to be buttons as opposed to just text. Overall, our user research for dinehero garnered a lot of data and information. But some of the limitations of this project that we had was that the prototype limitations, like we had to use Envision, which limited our interaction and functionality so that we couldn't get the best type of data that we wanted from the users. So because of some of these limitations, for the future recommendations, we recommend testing our high fidelity prototype on current users. And we also recommend for the product owner to get a marketing strategy. Thank you very much for listening to our presentation.